So thanks for coming. Is anybody, how many people have done an ACI course? Have you been to 3 Joules before?
Yes.
Okay, what did you take it to 3 Joules?
The meditation class, Friday night.
The meditation class with Punsalk?
Yes.
Okay. Same? Punsalk? Okay. Did anybody do the logic course? For the people that did ACI courses, did anybody do 13?
No, not yet.
No? Okay, that's fine.
I want to.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, it's a tough course. Bishop Michael likes to make a lot of jokes about it because basically he started out, it was at the, up a little bit at the Quaker House, and he started out with it was full, like, I don't know, 300 people or something, and then by the end of the course there's like 10 left. So.
I don't think it's been fun here. At least not in the last few years.
Yeah, most people avoid it. People don't really like to teach it, which is that's why I like to teach it, because a lot of people don't want to. So whenever I get the chance, I like to teach it or something like it, or introduce people to it anyway. Because I find it myself, personally, I find it really valuable. You have any other colors? Just black? Look, sometimes it's more fun if you have colors. So I thought what I'd do is sort of introduce you to Tibetan logic, and then what we'll do is we'll talk about what it means, like why. Why would you bother? Because it's a little bit like logic is a little bit like math, and nobody in this country likes it. So you probably took math like in the 8th grade, and that was the last time you ever enjoyed math. So I want to talk a little bit about why you would want to bother to learn something like logic. Right? So that's really what I want to do. I want to sort of do an overview of what logic is and what we consider logic to be, and then talk about how we can use it. Talk about how we can use it and why it's useful, and why you want to potentially injure your brain studying logic. So all Tibetan logic basically comes down to syllogisms. So once you understand the syllogism, you understand all the fundamentals of Tibetan logic. You know what? Maybe you might want to sit here or there, because then everybody can see the big, exciting board.
Syllogisms? How do you spell it?
Syllogisms. That's a good question. I think it's something like this, but I could be wrong. So syllogisms basically have 3 parts, and they're pretty, they're easy. You need a subject, you need an assertion, and you need a reason. Syllogisms can also include an example, but we're not going to talk a whole bunch about that tonight. Just for fun, because it's good for you. Okay. So say Chujin. Yeah. And then Drupja. And Dakanda. Nobody's studying Tibetan, eh? From the huge response I got. It's just good to learn. There's a couple reasons. Geshe Michael likes to talk about. One of the Dalai Lamas in his book said, if you can learn to say something in a foreign language, it gives you some authority. If you can quote back to the source, it lends you authority. It lets people believe that you know what you're talking about, that you didn't just make it up. So those are all good things. So say Chochen. Yeah. Drupja. Yeah. Dakyan Dak. Yeah, good. So Chochen means subject, Drupja is the assertion, Dakyan Dak is the reason. So subject is what we're talking about, assertion is what we want to prove, and then the reason is why we think this assertion is true. So we usually start off with a really easy example. It's classic, Lord Buddha taught it. I'll just...
Last word at the bottom is D-A-K, right?
D-A-K, correct. Yeah. Sometimes my Tibetan's easier to read than my English. So here's the syllogism. We're just going to jump right in. I don't want to play around. Okay. First one. Consider sound. is changing. Because it's made. Okay, so that's a syllogism. So, so what's the subject?
Sound.
Sound. Yeah, they're just gonna match right up. So the subject of this syllogism is sound. What are we trying to prove?
That it's changing.
Yeah, sound is changing. And why do we think that's true?
Because it's made.
Because it's made. All right, you know everything there is to know about logic. That's it. Those are all the working parts. That's it. Okay. Does anybody know? Probably not, because nobody did course 13 yet, but anyway, I'll just ask. Does anybody know what's the definition for reason? Do you know? Everybody say dot,
Dot.
dot,
Dot.
su,
Su.
copa,
Copa.
doxacopa.
Doxacopa.
Doxacopa means anything given as a reason. So if I said consider sound is changing because I like monkeys, what's the reason? I like monkeys, right? So anything basically that goes down here, that makes it a reason. So that's the definition of reason. If you put it here, that makes it a reason. Consider sound is changing because it's raining outside. What's the reason? Because it's raining outside. But we want to learn tak and dak. Do you know what tak and dak means?
Logical reason.
Pretty close. It means correct reason. So I gave the definition for reason. Anything that you put here was the definition for a correct reason. That's what we're going to spend the rest of the class on. Because that's what we want to know, right? How do you make a correct reason? Right? Consider sound is changing because I like monkeys. It's like it's not so useful. It's a syllogism. Why? Because it has the three parts, right? Does it help me in any way? No, probably not. Why? Because it's not true. Right? So correct reason is, how do I make a syllogism that's correct? Basically now what we're going to spend the rest of the class talking about, right, is how do I get at truth? Because that's the purpose of this. If I can figure out what's a correct reason, then I can prove my assertion is true, right? So that's what the purpose of logic basically is to get at truth. And we'll talk some more about that later. Maybe let's talk about it now. Does anybody know the word for correct perception?
Zema.
Zema. Yeah, good. Good. Yeah. Say Zema.
Sema.
Yeah, T-S-E-M-A, Zema. You know Sanskrit? Anybody know the Sanskrit?
Probably.
Yeah, Pramana. I think it's a regular, yeah. Pramana. Alright. So what's Pramana, what's Sema? What's correct? What are the three kinds of Sema? What are the three kinds of correct perception? Oh, come on, you know.
It's been a long time.
Like direct to see. Direct perception.
Yeah, good. That's the first one.
Inference.
Third.
That's the second one.
And the authority.
Yeah, good. Direct, indirect, and we call a valid authority. If you can't read my English, let me know. So, what's direct perception? What I can see with my eyes, right? And that's what most of us consider how we know something to be true, right? If we can see with our eyes, we can demonstrate it in a laboratory, right? We can see it directly. Like, what color is the pen? The pen is black. Why? Because I saw black with my eye, right? So I know that's true, right? This is a black pen. How do I know? I saw it with my eyes, right? So that's direct perception. So unfortunately, in our culture, this is the only one we use pretty much. We're stuck with that one. But the problem with that is there's two other areas of knowledge, right, that are useful. And if you only rely on direct perception, then you have no access to those areas of knowledge. So in the study of valid perception, they say there's three ways to know things, and they say, why do you need three ways to know things? Because there's three different things you need to know. So the first thing you need to know, this one's dying on me, is what they call obvious phenomena. So like I said, that's the pen. Like, what color is the pen?
Red.
Red. It's obvious, right? You just look, see, red, obvious. What's the next one? Does anybody know? They call hidden. So, I'm just jumping around, and that's okay. Classically, they say there's 3 reasons why you need to study logic. In the monastery, this is what they teach you anyway. There's 3 reasons why you want to study logic. Do you know one of them? Does anybody know one of them? Do you remember?
So that you can prove what you believe.
That's basically it. Yeah, like we said, to get at truth, right? What's truth? So, but they give 3 reasons. The first one they say is you want to be a Tenzin. What's a Tenzin? Anybody know anybody named Tenzin? Yeah, who's named Tenzin?
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, Dalai Lama, right? Tenzin Gyatso. You know what Gyatso means?
Ocean.
Ocean, right? Does anybody know what Tenzin means?
Great. Great.
Holder of the teaching.
Yeah, good. Zen means to hold. And Ten means teachings with a capital T, meaning what Lord Buddha taught. So someone who holds the teachings, who holds the lineage of Lord Buddha, they're a Tenzin. So that's what the Dalai Lama's name means. He's an ocean of wisdom and a holder of the teachings. So what do you need to be a holder of the teachings? Logic. Why? What do you think?
In order to teach.
Yeah, that's true. What else?
Debate, proof.
That's good.
To prove what you believe.
Yeah. The one I usually say is to avoid the great enemy, doubt. Right? Because I grew up Christian. My dad's Catholic and my mom's Protestant. Like I was a crazy mixed up kid. But anyway, because I feel it was really valuable, so I went to church one Sunday and they said this, and then I would go to church the other Sunday and they would say something totally different. So then what am I supposed to believe? And then I say, and I ask them, what am I supposed to believe? And what do they say? Believe what we tell you. Yeah, but I got 2 people telling me something different. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to believe either one of you? We need logic. Because logic solves these problems for us. It's the same thing though, like, we talk a lot about seeds and karma, right, in this tradition. Like we're going to talk about how seeds make your world and how everything you do depends on how you treat other people, right? And you're just going to believe that, right? Does that sound okay? It shouldn't. Why not? Because you're going to go home, and you're going to talk to your brother, you're going to talk to your sister, you're going to talk to your dad, and you're going to say, hey, I heard this great thing, I listened to this teacher, he told me if you're nice to other people, you get nice things happen back to you, right? And what are they going to say?
Not necessarily.
They're going to give counterexamples.
Yeah, you're a fool, right? I was nice to somebody, and what happened to me? Right? Something bad, right? So we'll talk about it. That's part of what I want to talk about in the class, right? So if you don't have, so what's an indirect area of knowledge, for example? We say a good example is karma. Can you see karma with your eyes?
No.
No, right? You can't. So, if you want to understand karma, if you want to understand emptiness, right, you need logic. Because logic is how you prove indirect phenomena. If you want to prove something that you can't see, the tool that you have is to use logic. And if you don't understand logic, and you don't use logic, then if somebody teaches you something, you can't know if it's true, and you're going to have doubt, right? You're always in the back of your mind. Even if, Geshe Michael's, I like to say Geshe Michael's a really nice guy. He gets up and he tells you to be nice to people. It sounds really good, But then what's going to happen? You're going to be nice to somebody and they're going to, be mean back to you. And then what's going to happen?
Doubt.
You're going to doubt the whole thing, right? I don't know. I tried to be nice to somebody. Something bad happened to me. I don't think this thing works, Like it sounds good on paper. I like to listen to him talk. It makes me feel good. But I'm not doing it. No way. Because the last time I tried to give somebody money, they just took the money and, ran off with it. I never got nothing, right? So if we want to fight against that, this is the tool that we have, right? So we have to study logic. Just to cover the basis, then, how much time do I have? I have an hour and a half, right?
The eraser? You got the eraser.
Yeah, no, I got the eraser. I'm just wondering how much I should let myself sidetrack. What's the cornerstone of everything that Geshe Michael teaches?
Emptiness.
Emptiness, right? Have you seen it? No, right? Do you believe it? Why?
First retreat.
Yeah, I don't mean to put pressure on you. Some other people should answer. But,
Right, other people have seen it.
what's that?
Because other people have seen it.
Yeah, that's this one, right? And I'll talk about this one briefly just to cover it. It's not the main subject for today, but that's valid authority, right? You could say valid authority. So we say there are things that you can't know, and you also can't prove with logic. Like we say, if I ask you, what's the karmic seed that in my hand right now I am holding a red pen? I have no idea. But they say there are people that could tell you. Like, for example, Lord Buddha does it all over the scriptures. Someone will come up to him and they'll say, this terrible thing happened. Why? And they'll say, well, 27 past lives ago, you stepped on an ant, and that's why your house just burned down. So they say he can know those kinds of things. Me, not so much. But there are, that's an example of something that, you just have to rely on somebody else, because there's no way for you to logic out, what it was that, we say you have to be a scientist, like if I was going to, be serious about it, and I said, did your house burn down? Why did your house burn down? Why would your house burn down?
Because there was a fire.
Because there was a fire? Is why your house burned down?
No, because you treated somebody else's things.
Yeah, you broke something that belonged to somebody else. Maybe you burned it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you ran over your car. It doesn't really matter. But you destroyed something that belonged to somebody else. And so then your house burns down, right? So we can say that. Why? Because I can show you the logic behind that. But if you ask me, what was it that I did that caused my house to burn down, right? I can't. There's no way to figure that out. So then we have to rely on somebody who can see it. And that's a valid authority. So we could go that way. We could say, why do I believe in emptiness? Because somebody saw it and they told me about it. You could do that. And I guess that's what most people are doing, to be honest. For me, that's not really satisfactory. I don't really want to hang my hat on that one. Has anybody done Course 4? A little bit? Started it? Okay. Well, that's what Course 4 is about, right? Course 4 is like, look, how can we establish that somebody is a valid authority? Like, for example, the Buddha. Like, when Buddha teaches us about karma and he talks about emptiness, can we accept what he says? Like, should we accept what he says? Like, when and why should we accept what he says? So that course is basically like, how do you establish someone as a valid authority? So how do you establish someone as a valid authority? You have to use this one. You have to use logic, right? If you just take somebody as a valid authority, who knows the story about Angulimala? Does anybody know Angulimala? Mm-hmm. What's the story of Angulimala?
The guy who somebody told him that he has to kill 1,000 people to get to enlightenment, and he runs around and has 999 done, and then he just needs one person, and he cuts the finger off from them and wears them around his neck, like this necklace of 1,000, and that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 finger mala.
It might be thumb. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, yeah. He every time he murders somebody, he chops off one of their digits and puts it on a necklace around his neck. So the story is that like he had a spiritual guru, and his spiritual guru was married, and his spiritual guru's wife was like flirting with him a little bit, and the spiritual guru got mad and decided, well, I'll show him. I'll take care of this problem. And he told him if he wanted to get enlightened, he had to kill. It was 100 or 1,000. I can't remember. Maybe it was. I'm not sure about that. You have to kill 1,000 people. So every time he killed one, he would chop off a thumb or a finger and stick it on a necklace. And he was up to 999 or 99 or whatever it was. And then for his last one, he was trying to kill Buddha, and he couldn't do it. And then Buddha explained to him, like, maybe this is not the best way to try to achieve enlightenment. And then the whole thing turns around, and it's a really great story, because at the end he reaches nirvana. He gets nirvana in that lifetime. Probably because his motivation was good. But anyway, that's the reason I bring that story up, is because you can't just, if your guru tells you to start killing people, you should maybe think about it a little bit. Apply what you've learned about logic to whether that's actually the way you want to go or not. So anyway, I use that as kind of an extreme example, but without being able to use logic as a tool, that's a possibility, right? Your teacher tells you to do something and you do it, and that's actually not what you should be doing. there are other examples, right? In Course 15, which is about Trangye, right? A guy walks up to Lord Buddha and he says, I killed my mother and my father. And Lord Buddha says, excellent, nicely done, right? And then Course 15 basically is like, okay, are we supposed to take that literally or figuratively? Right? Literally or figuratively? What do you think? Figuratively, right? So to be able to do that, again, you need to, that's why 15 comes after 13. You need to be able to use logic. So again, I'm gonna come back to this one. I'm gonna say logic or emptiness is actually one of the things we can prove indirectly. You don't need valid authority to prove emptiness. You can prove emptiness yourself through logic. And there's a lot of advantage to that, I think, and we're going to talk about that a lot more, hopefully, in this class. But I like to tell this story that I studied martial arts a lot when I was in college, and when we were in college one time, we heard that this new martial arts school opened up, and it was called Green Dragon Kung Fu. And we were like, Green Dragon Kung Fu, huh? I Googled it, Green Dragon Kung Fu, nothing came up. Right, I'm like, what is Green Dragon Kung Fu, and then we started asking around. We found out basically like a lot of martial arts schools work on they're what do you call them? Not a Ponzi scheme. They're what do you call that when you?
Franchise.
Yeah, it's a franchise. But what's the thing where like you give me $5 and you find two people to give you $5? It's a pyramid scheme. Yeah, if you're at the top of the pyramid, right? You make your students, they teach, they collect money, they have to pay you. It's a franchise fee, and then the more students you have, the more money you make, like that. So a lot of martial arts schools are run that way. So this guy decided he was going to step outside of that. He didn't want to, a lot of martial arts schools barely make money. It's a difficult thing to make money at a difficult business. So he decided he wasn't going to pay the franchise fee. So what he did was he just changed the name of it. Like, I don't know what the martial art he studied from his teacher, but he decided, I'll just call it Green Dragon Kung Fu. And then he made up some things in his basement, and then he was like, now I'm teaching Green Dragon Kung Fu. So what's the problem with that?
It has no basis.
Yeah, good. Is it going to work? Who knows? I don't know.
It might have a basis. It's hard for anyone to evaluate whether it has a basis or not.
Yeah, and who knows if he changes something? Is he changing it and making it better? Or is he changing it and ruining it? There's no way to know, right? So in the same way, if somebody starts to teach you about Buddhism, right, and they teach you, today we're going to talk about emptiness. Emptiness means nothing matters. Everything is empty, right? Nothing matters. Right? Did they do you any favors? No, right? They just destroyed the whole thing. They just wrecked Buddhism as a lineage. Buddhism is not going to be able to do you any good if you think emptiness means nothing matters, right? And people teach it that way. How did it get started? Somebody thought, I understand emptiness. It means nothing matters, right? And then they opened the Green Dragon Kung Fu school. They started teaching emptiness means nothing matters, right? And then they wreck it. There's no way you can reach enlightenment. There's no way you can reach nirvana. There's no way you can free yourself from pain if you think emptiness means nothing matters, right? So, how do you protect yourself from that? Logic. Right? Logic. And how I got started on this, right, was Tenzin. So how do I determine if someone is a Tenzin? I need logic. Right? I have to, whatever they teach me, I have to apply what I know about logic, and I have to figure out for myself, is what this teacher is telling me is true? Like we can do it. Right? I can teach you how to do it, yeah. All right, let me teach you how to do it. Then we can do it. But if I forget, you remind me. We'll do the proof. Let's see. Maybe I should write it in that over here.
Let me find a better
Need another pen. Consider emptiness. Let's see. It means nothing matters. And then you'll have to come up with a reason. We'll think of something. Okay. Anyway. So one of the reasons they give you to study logic is to be a Tenzin. Why? Because if you want to pass on the lineage, you have to be a person who isn't troubled by doubts. Geshe Michael's been using that example a lot lately in the Bhagavad Gita teachings he's doing. If you get up in front of people to teach them about Buddhism, right, you're going to teach emptiness. You're going to teach them because things are empty, everything depends on how you treat other people, right? The more you take care of other people, the more seeds you get, the more you'll accomplish, right, as a spiritual person. right? Or even as a regular person. What if you don't believe it? You know, somebody told you that's true, right? And again, it sounds nice, but you don't really believe it. You're going to get up and teach that? Right? Is anybody going to believe you?
You'll be teaching doubt.
Yeah. No, nobody's going to believe you. You're not going to be a Tenzin. You're going to be someone who can pass on the lineage, right? If you have a lot of doubts in your own mind, all you're going to do is pass on those doubts to other people. You won't be a teacher. All right. What's the other reason? Classically, they say to study logic. They say, don't judge other people. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? I'm covering a lot of ground really fast. We can always ask questions. You get confused about something, I go too fast. All right.
Logic helps to prevent you from judging other people.
Yeah. Ngang ngam nam drawe, kangsagi so sunte, kangsagi so mi sunte nambar gutare. Does anybody know that? It's in course 4. It means only I or someone like me should ever judge another. If you're not a person like me and you judge someone else, you will surely fall.
You're not a Buddha.
Yeah. Do you remember the story?
No.
Anybody remember the story? So there's a story Buddha tells. It's in the Jataka Tales. He tells these two stories about his past lives because he can remember them, because he can see them directly, which is why he's valid authority. So he tells this story. There was an abbot one time, and there was a teacher passing through, and he started to teach the local town. He's getting really popular, and so the abbot got kind of jealous. You know, he's like, I'm the big teacher here. You know, like what is this guy doing, right? So then he started to tell people like he's not a good teacher. You know, like he makes stuff up. He's teaching Green Dragon Kung Fu. You know, so then it turns out that he wasn't. He was a good teacher actually. He wasn't making things up. So then, what kind of karma do you think that is? What kind of seeds you're collecting if you do that? You know, undercut somebody who's trying to teach people how to help other people. You know, it's a really bad seed. So then, Lord Buddha says, and so because of that guy fell into the lower realms. He fell into hell when he died, right? And then he goes, and I know that's true because it was me. Mm-hmm. I was the abbot that did that, right? So what does that got to do with logic? There's a special kind of logic. We won't get to it today. It's in course 13, which basically there's 3 kinds of reasons, and it's one of the kinds of reasons you can put in there reasons to prove things that you can't see, right? So if you study that kind of logic, what you'll figure out is that you can't read people's minds. That's not something you can see, right? What's 90% of the power of any karmic seed?
Intention.
Intention, right? So can you see somebody's intention with your eyes?
Mm-mm.
Can you figure it out logically?
Mm-mm.
That's why logic's important, right? If you study logic, what you'll figure out is that you can't logically determine what someone's intention is. There's no way logically to do that. So unless you are a person who can read someone else's mind, you don't know what someone else's intention is. And then if you judge them, what's going to happen to you? You're going to end up like the abbot. You're going to make a mistake. You know, there's another story in the Jataka Tales, right, about Lord Buddha kills somebody. It comes up a lot of times. Does anybody know that one? Mm-hmm. Lord Buddha's on a ship, right, and he can read the guy's mind, and he realizes the guy's going to wait for everybody to fall asleep and then try to murder everyone so he can steal everything on the ship. So then out of compassion, because he's worried about that guy, he ends up killing him because he doesn't want that guy to collect the karma of murdering everyone on the ship. So actually, he wasn't so much he was protecting the people on the ship, and actually his intention was, I want to help this guy not collect all that really terrible bad karma, right? So in my mind, I always like to put myself outside of that, right? So I'm on the ship, and I'm watching Buddha, and I see Buddha kill this guy. What am I going to think?
He's bad.
Bad. He's bad, right? We have to stop him. And you do. If you don't know any better, right, again, you just have to go on what you know. If you see somebody trying to kill somebody, you have to try and stop it. But at the same time, it's another good example of why we shouldn't judge other people, because you never know what someone else's intention is. And if you don't know what their intention is, then you can make a big mistake. You know, you can end up fighting Buddha. So you should always keep that in your mind. So anyway, that's another reason to study logic. We won't do too much more on that today. But the big reason, I think, to study logic is what we were already talking about, which is, I'm just going to write emptiness. But what I mean is, don't practice Green Dragon Kung Fu. Everything, hopefully, that gets taught in this space, everything you're ever going to hear Geshe Michael teach is all based on the cornerstone of things are empty. Because this is a chew toy to a dog, right, and a pen to me, which means what? It's empty, right? There's no pen here other than what I project onto this thin shape and red color, right? The eyeball, right? What can the eyeball see?
Colors and shapes.
Colors and shapes. Can the eyeball see pen?
No.
No, right? The eye can only see color and shape. So then what happens? Light bounces off, according to science anyway, light bounces off the thing, hits in the eye. I see long, thin shape with white and red color, and then what happens? Yeah, my mind says, that thing's a pen. It's a pen, man. Right? And what happens when the dog is at the exact same shape and color? And what does his mind say? Her mind say? Alright, something to chew on. Right? So that means there's no pen or chew toy here. Right? Free of this object. Like we like to say, like it's available. This shape and color is available to be what? Available to be anything. Available to be a pen. Available to be a chew toy. What does that mean? That means the thing's empty. All right. What did we just do? We're using logic, right, to determine for ourselves if this thing is empty or not. Right. So once I use logic to prove emptiness, right, then we say these are the three kinds of valid perception, right? The three kinds of correct perception. We say they're equivalent, right? So if you can prove something to yourself, they say you have to use airtight logic. If they say you can prove something yourself using logic, it's just as valid as if you saw it with your eyes. So what does that mean to me? If I prove to myself that things are empty, I'd be a different person. And I want to talk a lot more about that too in this class. If when I got up in the morning I had proven to myself things are empty, I would not have the same day. My day would be totally different. And here I'll give you an example. Again, I'm skipping ahead, but that's what I like to do, so okay. Does working make you money?
Not always.
Sometimes, right? The answer we usually look for, we want sometimes, right? Because there's a debate we have in the monastery. Nobodangul Gawadunchik Mushimusum Nebecher. Right? That's little baby monks. That's what they start on. Mushimusum is what they call it. It's like the way they start them off with logic. Like little 13-year-old Tibetans are running around. They understand all this stuff already. They're like, I'm 40 years old. I'm still catching up. Anyway. Nobodangul Gawadunchik Mushimusum Nebecher. Consider the relationship between working and money. Are they contradictory? Are they the same? Is it a relationship of 3 or a relationship of 4? All right, what does that mean? Nobody knows. That's fine. We're going to talk about it. So, dunchik. Everybody say dunchik.
Dunchik.
Dunchik means to be one is to be the other. We usually translate it as synonym. So what's an example of something that's dunchik? To be one is to be the other.
A green apple, right? Like it's green and an apple.
No.
No?
To be one is to be the other. Come on. Anybody, come on. Course 6. Come on.
To be a Fuji apple is to be an apple. To be.
Close. Still no. Car and automobile.
Oh.
Right? To be a car is to be an automobile. You point to me a car, and I'll show you an automobile. Right? You show me an automobile, I'll show you a car. Right? Are you with me? Okay. To be one is to automatically be the other. Dunchik, synonyms. All right. Gewa. Gewa means opposite. So here I'm going to draw circles. Except I'm going to use the other pen. Okay. What's Gewa? Gewa means usually we translate it as opposite. Opposite is not the best translation in the world because we don't have this word in English. But basically it means to be one is to not be the other. So anything which is automatically not the other thing. So for example, like in the monastery, the first example they give you is like red and blue. If you show me something which is red, I'll show you something which is not blue. If you show me something which is blue, I'll show you something which is not red. But now ordinarily we don't think of red and blue as opposite, right? So that's why Hopkins translates it as mutually exclusive. So Geshe Michael doesn't like translations like that. Mutually exclusive, what the hell does that mean? Nobody knows. So we translate it as opposite, but what you should understand is opposite means to be one is to automatically not be the other. Right? Okay, you got that? With me? Okay. So then here's the Mushi Musum part. This is new information, perhaps. Well, you guys already gave me a bunch of examples of it. Let me do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do a green apple. Give me an example of something which is neither green nor an apple.
Banana.
Orange.
Banana, orange, good. Give me something which is green but not an apple.
Lime.
Lime, good. Something which is both green and an apple. A green apple, good. Sometimes that takes people a while to get that one. Give me an example then of something which is an apple but not green. Fuji, yeah, good. Okay. So then see all four possibilities exist. So they call that mushi. Shi is the Tibetan word for four. So all four possibilities exist. Mushi. Right. Musum. This is going to be over your heads. Don't worry about it. It's a relationship of identity, which is Fuji and apple. Give me an example of something which is neither a Fuji apple nor an apple.
A banana.
Banana, orange, same. Give me an example of something which is an apple but not a Fuji apple.
Pink lady.
Granny.
Pink lady, yeah, good. Granny Smith. Give me an example which is both apple and a Fuji apple.
Fuji apple.
Fuji apple, good, you guys are sharp. Give me an example of something which is a Fuji apple but not an apple.
Doesn't exist.
Can't do it, right? So that's Musum. Sum means three in Tibetan. Sorry, I act like you guys know that. You do now. Sum is three in Tibetan. Yeah, so there's only three of the four possibilities. So Gewodun Chik Mushi Musum Mebeche. What's the relationship between money and hard work? What do you think? Are they synonyms? Are they opposite? Relationship of three or relationship of four? Come on, the 13-year-old monks can do this. 13-year-old kids right now running circles around you. I'm sorry, I'm just teasing you. It's all right. You're supposed to laugh, giggle, laugh, giggle. Don't take it personally. I'm not insulting you. I don't know. Let's do the test. Give me something. Can you think of a person who works hard? Let's see. Who doesn't work hard and doesn't have money?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, my cousin. Can you think of somebody who works hard and doesn't have money?
Also,
Yes.
Yeah, me. Can you think of somebody? Can you think of somebody who works hard and has money?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill Gates or somebody, right? Can you think of somebody who doesn't work hard and does have money?
Yes.
Yeah, trust fund baby, right? So then we say mushi, right? Relation to four. So what mushi means is there's no relationship. There's no necessary relationship between those two things, right? Just like what did we say? What was our first example? Green and apple, I think. Is there any necessary relationship between green and apple? No, right? I mean, there can be, but there's basically what it proves is there's no causal relationship there between working and money. So I'm going to give you, not only do you want to be a Tenzin, you want to prove karma emptiness yourself because it's make a different person, but why is it going to do that? Because you can also use logic to prove why you should get out of bed in the morning. Right? Most people in this country, they get out of bed in the morning to go do what? To go to work. Why?
Because they need money.
They think they're going to make money, right? But we just proved there's no necessary relationship between money and working hard. Okay? This is what Geshe Michael's talking about for people who've been to the Yoga or the Bhagavad Gita teachings or whatever. When Geshe Michael says there's 99.99.99% of all human activity is wrong, wasted, and incorrect. Why? Because they get up in the morning to get something, they're not doing what they need to do to get it. 99.999999% of all human activity is mistaken because it can't bring them what they want. This is why you should study logic. That's my thesis. All right. So now I'm going to teach you how to do logic. Excellent. We're doing good. Any questions so far?
Just a short one in between. You said mushi means there is no necessary relationship. So Musum.
Musum is a relationship of identity. We don't have time.
Huh?
Musum is a relationship of identity. If you have
a court case with the three,
yeah, it's a relationship of identity.
which means
There are between any two things, there can be no relationship, or there can be one of two kinds of relationships, or there can be one of three kinds of relationships. If you say between any two things, there's the two kinds of relationships. It could be a relationship of identity, or it could be a causal relationship. Anything which shares a relationship, it must be one of two kinds of relationships: a relationship of identity or causal. But that's course 13, and that's too much for right now.
you lost me totally. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know if if 4 and then
I don't wanna give
three
anybody
is
a
the
headache.
opposite. Like, okay.
Yeah, just to put it in there in your head somewhere.
Okay.
Relationship of identity. If we have time at the end, I'll explain it.
I have that in my notes from course 1, class 2.
Yeah, Mushimusu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not good. Is that true, or do I have it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, the only place Geshe Michael teaches Mushimusum in the courses is actually in course 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is funny. Okay, any other questions? We're okay? We're happy? We're doing good? Okay. Alright, so let's go back to our syllogism, right? We said to be a syllogism it has to have 3 parts. Right, what are the 3 parts? It has to have a subject, assertion, reason. Okay, consider sound is changing because it's made. Is that true? Consider sound is changing because I like monkeys. Is it true?
No.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's check. Alright, so the way you check to see if a syllogism is a doc or a doc and doc, right? Is it a reason or is it a correct reason? Right? So what did we say was the definition of a reason?
Anything
There.
Yeah, anything stuck in the third spot. Anything given as a reason is a reason. Consider sound is changing because I like monkeys. Perfectly good reason. Nothing wrong with that reason. Alright. Is it doc and doc? Is that correct reason? Okay, what's the definition of doc and doc? What's the definition of correct reason? Sul sum yimba. Say sul.
Sul.
Sum.
Sum.
Yimba.
Nimba.
Yimba.
Yimba.
Yeah, sul sum yimba.
Yimba.
Yeah. Sul sum yimba means anything which fulfills the 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions? Who cares? I'll tell you. It's fun. Now we're making progress. Let's see. I think we're done with this. We're done with that.
Anything that fulfills what? The 3?
Anything which fulfills the 3 conditions.
Is a valid reason.
Yes, is a correct reason. Yeah, correct or valid reason. Okay.
And the 3 conditions are what?
3 conditions are: number 1, there must be a relationship between 1 and 3. I'm going to use little math symbols. Don't let you throw that, or don't let this throw you. All right. First necessary condition. Conditions. Number 1. Condition number 1. 1 is the subject. 3 is the reason. So there must be a relationship between the subject and the reason. What does that mean? If I say to you, consider sound is changing because I like monkeys, is there a relationship between sound and the fact that I like monkeys? Not so much. So, is consider sound is changing because I like monkeys, a doc and doc, a correct reason? No. Why? Because it fails the first test. Right? Because it fails the first test, there's no relation between sound and me liking monkeys.
Well, what if you
It's
like
not a
the
correct
sound
reason.
of monkeys?
Different subject.
Yeah, that's a different subject.
It'll be the sound.
Let me bring that.
Okay.
Well,
the
when I
subject
finish
is the sound
this,
of monkeys.
we can bring that back up. Because after you learn how to make a syllogism and how to prove to yourself if a syllogism is correct or not, then when you want to debate with other people, you have to know how to respond to somebody who asks you questions like that.
Okay.
So then we'll do that. Just for now, let's say there's no relation between sound and the fact that I like monkeys.
What constitutes a relationship?
Okay. Can you prove a relationship? So let's do it real fast. I'm going to lose everybody. It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't really matter. If you, at the end, we'll cover what I really want you to get from this class, and if you get that, we're going to call it a victory. If you like, basically, you only need about 10% of like some of the stuff that I've mentioned so far because people are asking questions, and that's good. I like questions. So if somebody said consider sound is changing because I like monkeys, and they said Takmadru, which means what's the relationship between 1 and 3? And what I would do is I would say consider sound. I do like monkeys because I like the sound of monkeys. See, then I'm showing a relationship. So then that would be fine. actually. That would be okay. Because see, then I've proven the relationship between sound and the fact that I like monkeys. Then what we'd have to go back and do the other two tests to figure out if because I like monkeys is a good syllogism or not. So anyway, when you want to debate with other people, that's what you have to know how to do. You have to figure out how to slide these things around. I can tell you how to do that, but you don't need to know that right now. Second test. If 3, then 2. So, if, number 3, the reason. If the reason is true, then the number 2, the assertion, must, and that's important, must always be true. So I don't hate math so much. So I like 1 equals 3. If 3, then 2. If that freaks you out, then you can write out the long version. That's the relationship between the subject and the reason. And the second test is if the reason is true, then number 2, the assertion must be true. So what does that mean? Consider sound. It's changing. Yeah, might as well write it because I like monkeys. I don't really want to do that one actually, but we can come back to that one. let's do the one in black. So consider sound is changing because it's made. So let's run the first test. Is there a relationship between sound and sound being made?
Yeah.
Yes.
We would say yes, right? If you want sound, what do you have to do? You have to do something to make the sound. You have to hit something, bang on something, right? So we'd say sound is a made thing. So consider sound is changing because it's made. Sounds are always made by something, so we would say it passes the first test, right? So what's the second test? Consider sound is changing because it's made. All right, number 3, it's made. Number 2, changing, must be changing. So if something is made, is it true that it must be a changing thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we would say yes, because if it's made, then that means it has a cause, right? If it has a cause, what's going to happen when that cause wears out?
Stops.
Yes, it stops, it changes, right? If I make a sound by clapping my hands together, right? What's going to happen when I stop clapping my hands together?
The sound stops.
No sound, right? So we would say something which is made is something which is changing, right? So does it pass the second test? We would say yes. If 3, then 2. If it's made, it must be changing, right? So we would say that would be true. What's the third test? So you have all the parts. Then we'll do stuff that you care more about because you don't care if sound is made or not. And I know that, and that's fine. This is just for illustrative purposes. Okay. So if not 2, not 3, which means longhand. If the assertion is false, if assertion is false, number 3, the reason must also be false, and must is important. Okay, so consider sound is changing because it's made. If something is not changing, if it's unchanging, can that thing be made? No, right? Because made things are changing things. That's the short version of this whole little shtick that we're doing. Anything which is made is changing, and changing is made. Things which are unchanging, which don't change, unchanging thing. Give me an example of an unchanging thing.
Space.
Space, right? Is space made?
No.
No, right? Nobody creates space. Space is. Space is a necessary condition for what does exist, but there's no way to change or, can we add or remove space from this room? And we say no, so it's an unchanging thing. So then space is not made. So then we would say, consider sound is changing because it's made, also passes the third test, meaning this is a docking dock, this is the correct syllogism. Okay. So anybody have any questions about that? Are you angry? You're mad at me because this is hard. Don't be. Now we'll do something fun. Okay, we'll do something more relevant anyway. Maybe it won't be fun. Maybe it'll be kind of earth-shattering. Who knows? I kind of hope that it is, actually. But, now, let's go back to our Mushi Musum example. Consider money. You don't care about sound. I know you don't care about sound, but money. Now it's something maybe you're interested in. Consider money. I'm gonna get it. Right? Because I work hard. Right? We said everybody gets out of bed in the morning for a reason. If Geshe Michael always talks about if you don't have reason to get out of bed, you don't. Right? There are people that don't get out of bed in the morning. Why? Because they think nothing matters. Right? There's no reason for them to get out of bed in the morning. So every morning you get up and you get out of bed. In your mind, you have a reason why you're doing that. Another one of my running thesi is that you are actually doing this all the time. You are constantly applying logic. What's the problem?
It's not sound.
It's bad. You're using bad reasons for why you do things, right? You get out of bed in the morning, you go to work because you want money. You think if I work hard, I'm going to get money. That's why you're getting out of bed. What we're going to figure out is not a good reason. It's not a good reason, people. All right, so let's figure it out. Let's run our first test. What's the first test? Here I'm blocking. You can't see. What's the first test?
1 equals
3.
Yeah, is there a relationship between the subject and the reason? So is there a relationship between money and working hard? We could do it, but I would say, right, Mushi Musum. We already kind of covered this, right? There's no relationship really between money and working hard. Why? Because a trust fund baby, or at least you've heard of them, right? Who has tons of money, who never worked a day in their life, right? So then, there's no necessary relationship between that. Okay. Anyway, but I'll give you this one. Let's say you know somebody who makes money and they also work hard. So you say, yes, of course there's a relationship. My dad taught me if I work hard, I'll make money. So I went to school and I worked hard and I have money, and it's because I work hard. Okay. So then let's run the second test. Right? What's the second test?
If 3 then 2.
Yeah. If the assertion is true, if 2 then 3. So if the assertion is true, then 3 must be true. Right? So, yeah.
Is it 3 then 2?
No, I did it backwards. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, if 3 then 2. So if the reason is true, then the assertion must be true. You're right. I'm sorry. So if I work hard, must I get money?
Not necessarily.
Right. Yeah. So in Tibetan you say, who knows? If it fails the first test, what do you say?
Then it's not true because when
Yeah, what do you say in Tibetan? Come on, give it to me.
Oh,
Come on, somebody knows. Starts with a tak, ends with a droop.
Okay.
Yeah, tak droop. Yeah, good. If it fails this test in Tibetan, what you do to tell the person you're debating with that you don't agree there's a relationship between 1 and 3 is you say tak droop. If it fails the second test, what do you say?
Reason not established.
Yeah, that's the English. The Tibetan's Kalva is dying. Kalva Matum. Okay, everybody say Kalva?
Kyapa.
Yeah, Matum.
Maju.
Yeah, Kalva Matum means not necessarily. Which means your syllogism fails the second and third test. So if I say consider money, I'm going to get it because I work hard, I would say Kalmajun. Just because you work hard doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get money. Which means what? This syllogism is false. So like we said, 99.99% of all human activity is flawed. Why is it flawed and pointless? Because people are doing things for reasons that won't bring them what they want. Okay, so let's fix it, right? Because you still want the money, right? I didn't like.
Okay, well, where does statistics enter into this? Probability.
Buddhism has no belief or use for probability. Because we want, what's the first rule of karma?
it grows.
That's the second rule of karma. What's that?
Oh, it's certain.
Cause and effect.
Yeah, le Nyingpo. Everybody say le?
Lei.
Nyingpo.
Nyingpo.
Le Nyingpo means what?
Search karma.
Yeah, karma is definite. Le is karma. Nyingpo, nye, means definite. So, can we create a syllogism? And we could talk about, I'll bring your question back up in a second. So if I want to make a doc and doc, right? If I want a correct syllogism, if I want to know how to make money, what do I have to put? What do I have to put in here? Right? Because this is what logic is for now.
Give away money.
What's that?
Give away money.
Give it away. Okay. Consider money, I'm going to get it because I give it. What about that one? Let's run the 3 tests. What's the first test?
1 equals 3.
Yeah, the relationship between the subject and the reason. Is there a relationship between money and giving money away?
Yeah.
You'd say yeah, right? What's the second test?
It's 3 then 2.
Yeah, if 3 is 2, 2 must be true. So if I give money away, must I get money back?
No.
Yeah. We can talk about it. I mean, I would say laying epa, right? First rule of karma. Karma must come back. If you give away money, you must get money. That's the first law of karma. If you give it away, you must get it. So if you told me, if I said consider money, I'm going to get it because I give it, and you said kamajun, which means just because you give it doesn't mean you're going to get it, then I would say I am necessarily going to get it because laying epa. That's the first rule of karma. Karma is definite. To give something away means you must get it back.
How do we prove that though?
How we prove that? This is where the class that I taught at the Prescott retreat went to, which I didn't fully anticipate the first time this happened to me, but I'm ready now. So, but I would, let me say one other thing, and then we'll come back to that. You could say, for example, you could say, karma doing again, right? Just because karma is definite doesn't mean you'll get it back. And then there's a couple reasons you could give. What are some reasons you could give? I got angry at a bodhisattva, right? I've stolen in the past.
Or I gave for the purpose of getting.
No, that's okay. I mean, you still get the result.
Okay.
But you could say, I didn't do a karmic path, right? This is what Geshe Michael's talking about this week at the Bhagavad Gita teachings. So you could say, Karma doing, why? I got angry at a bodhisattva. Why is that a problem?
Because anger destroys all good seeds, right?
Yeah. They say, course 7. What's course 7?
Vows.
Bodhisattva vows, right? In the Bodhisattva vows, what does it say about getting angry at bodhisattva? It cuts the root of your virtue. It cuts the root of your
What if
virtue.
you don't know whether the person is a bodhisattva or not?
Ah. It's a problem, isn't
Never
it?
get angry.
It's a problem. I would encourage you to not get angry at people is what I would say. But anyway, I bring it up because you could say, not necessarily, even though it is true that karma is definite, if you get angry at a bodhisattva, you cut the root of your virtue, which means that seed won't ripen. Okay. So then what do I have to do if I've done that? I've gotten angry at someone. I don't know if they were a bodhisattva. What should I do?
Restore it.
Clean it up.
Yeah, what's it called?
4 powers.
Yeah. You have to do the 4 powers, right? If you do the 4 powers, you purify this bad karma, then what must necessarily be the case about your act of giving?
Good.
Yeah, it must bring a result. So if we really wanted this to be a truly correct syllogism, what you might say is you might say, consider money, I'm going to get it because I give it and I practice the 4 powers. Or I haven't committed a non-virtue which would prevent that seed from ripening. Yeah.
If you talk about mental images, I think you can prove that that giving it means you're going to get it.
Okay. Well, let's come back to it.
But also, what about the concept of multiple lifetimes and reincarnation and so forth and that karma?
Yeah, good.
So, how do I know I'm going to get it in this lifetime?
Good, right?
We
Because
don't-
I said
I might get
But
it
it
in a
doesn't
future
say.
lifetime, then, right?
I said that was one of my objections, right? I said I didn't create a karmic path. What's the problem if I don't create a karmic path?
Takes a long time.
Yeah. They say there's 3 possibilities for any karmic seed to ripen. What are they? This life, next life, or lifetimes after that. Good. Right? So if it ripens, if I give somebody some money and I get it back in 7 lifetimes, are you okay with that?
You totally don't draw a connection.
I'm not. That's no good for me. You know, I gave some money because I need money tomorrow. You know, like I got to pay my rent. You know, so that doesn't really help me then, right? If I'm going to get money back, but it's 7 lifetimes from now, then this is not so useful. So that's why Geshe Michael's on this all week with the Bhagavad Gita teachings. How do I create my karmic path, right? Because if I create my karmic path, then what's going to happen? That's going to be a powerful karmic seed. It's much more likely to come back to me in this lifetime, next week, by the end of the month, which is what I need, right? What else? Did I say anything else? I think I had another objection. I can't remember now. Oh, stealing. Why? Why shouldn't you steal? If you give money away, but you steal, what's going to happen?
You have money stolen from you.
Yeah, you're not going to get your money back. Because all the seeds you planted by stealing are going to, what do you call them? They're, gakpa. They're going to block all the seeds you planted by giving. Right? Anyway. I don't know if anybody's or not. So what you do if you steal is you create a karmic obstacle. If you create a karmic obstacle, then the karmic seeds you plant by giving are not going to necessarily ripen in any time that's going to be useful for you. Right? What if I, say for example, borrow money from somebody and don't pay it back?
That's stealing.
I think so. I have friends that do it though. I always say, like, I know a lot of Buddhists that would never steal, but they'll borrow money and not pay it back. But for my money, let's call a spade a spade. That's stealing. So if you know any of my friends who give a lot but don't have any money, ask them who they borrowed money from and haven't paid it back. Anyway, so then I would say, if we really wanted to have an airtight syllogism, like we said, if we really want to prove something, have it be the same as a direct perception, it has to be what they call airtight. So if you call it airtight, you have to account for all this, right? So I say, consider money, I'm not going to get it because I give it. Kamajun. Why is it Kamajun? Because I got angry bodhisattva. Then your laying apple is not going to work. Okay, so consider money, I'm going to get it because I give and I practice the 4 powers. Okay, Kamajun. Why? Because I give it, but I give it without creating a karmic path, right? I gave it, but I gave it selfishly. I gave it, I didn't think about it afterwards. I gave it, but I was kind of angry at the guy when I gave it to him. You know, I was kind of like, I say, what's the difference, right? Just to go, what do we say, what percentage of your karmic seeds is intention? 90%, right? That's what the book says anyway. We could debate it later. Anyway, if I give you a pen, right? And I give you a pen, and in my mind I think, you've heard this before, right? I give you a pen and I put it in your hand, right? And in my mind I think, I hope this gives you everything you ever wanted in your whole life. I hope that by giving you this pen, you reach full enlightenment, right? What kind of seed do you think that puts in your mind? Pretty good, right? That's why we're supposed to think like that. What if I'm at work and my boss asks me for a pen, and I think, they say, give me a pen. And in my mind I'm like, well, I don't really want to give her a pen. She's kind of a witch, but if I don't give her a pen, she's going to fire me, right? So she says, give me a pen. So I'm like, and I hand her the pen. And in my mind I'm thinking, and I hope you choke on it, right? What kind of karmic seed do you think that plants? Yeah, probably I'm going to choke on something is what I'm thinking, right? There's probably a result that I'll get back from that. So it's really important, right? If you want to create a real karmic seed, you want to create a karmic path, it's important what your intention is when you do it in your mind. What's your motivation? Why are you doing it? So that's why Geshe Michael's teaching that this week. So if I'm careful to not get angry at people, when I get angry at people, I practice the 4 powers. When I give by creating the correct karmic path. I have all 4 parts are there. And I don't create obstacles for myself by doing the opposite. Right? What did Lord Buddha say? If you want to boil Buddhism down to one simple sentence, what is it? Buddha said you have to know what to take up and what to give up. So why did he teach that, do you think? Because you have to know what to do to create the karmic seeds for what you need, and you have to know how to what? Avoid creating obstacles for that. You know, if you give money and you steal, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, if you take care of lonely people, but you cheat, what's going to happen? You're just going to lose your partner, right? If you, what's another one? If you practice your yoga, but you're always angry at people, you like to fight with people, hit people when you get angry, what's going to happen?
You get hurt.
Yeah, you're just going to be sick all the time, right? What to take up, what to give up, right? So if I understand these three things, I have my syllogism. Consider money, I'm going to get it because I give it. I know about the 4 powers. I created a karmic path, and I didn't create any obstacles for myself. Then I would say that's docking dock. That's the correct syllogism. We say if you go through it, if you do the 3 tests, you go through and you debate it like this, then you reach a conclusion which must be true. And then, like we said, it's the same as if you saw it with your eyes. You know, and are you going to have doubt now? Right? It was the thing that we wanted to overcome. If you go through all this, you debate this with your friends, you go through every nuance of it, they give you every possible objection to what they can think of, and you answer all their objections and come back with a syllogism that nobody can object to, then are you going to have doubt? I hope not. Anyway, that's the purpose of this. So let's do another one. What else do you want? Maybe you don't care about money. You know, maybe I don't know. Who doesn't care about money? Everybody cares about money. I don't know. Maybe you don't care about money. What do you want to do?
Be happy.
Oh, happy's good. A little bit general, but nobody wants to be happy. Does money make you happy? Right? Money makes me happy, right? If I get enough money, I'll be happy. Everybody knows that. I get out of bed, put my foot on the floor, go to work, because money's going to make me happy. Right? Consider happy. Consider happiness, probably. That's better than me. I'm going to get it. I gotta switch pens. I'm going to get it because I have money. I mean, everybody told you that, right? I mean, yeah, you know, if somebody asked you, is happiness money? You know, you can say, no, happiness is money. You know, I could be happy without money. But in the back of your mind, what are you thinking? I hope I get a raise. You know, you go buy the lottery ticket. Right, so let's do it. Consider happiness. I'm going to get it because I have money. All right, so what's the first test?
Connect. 1 equals 3.
Yeah, is the relationship between the subject and the reason. Is the relationship between happiness and having money. You know, I mean, we can do the.
I don't know, for some people, yes.
I mean, yeah, but we could do the mushi.
Well, it's a mushi.
Yeah.
Mushi Musum, right?
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Give me somebody who, can you think of somebody who's not happy and doesn't have money?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, can you think of someone who's happy but does have money?
Yeah.
Can you think of someone who has money but isn't happy?
Yeah.
Can you think of someone who's happy and doesn't have money?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's mushi, right? There's no causal relationship there. So again, I'll give you the first one because I know he's going to fail the second test because we just did the mushi musum, right? So what's the second test?
If 3.
Yeah, if 3, then 2 must be true. If I have money, am I going to have happiness? Macau, Majun. We know that, right? Because we just went through it. You can think of somebody who has money who's not happy. So Kao Majun. That syllogism is not true. All right, so give me something else. What else? Consider happiness. I'm going to get it because
I make other people happy.
yeah. I was thinking in my mind, Jesus loves me, but other people happy. All right, so run the test. Is there a relationship between happiness and making other people happy?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Even if it's only just the fact that we use happy twice. What's the second test?
If 3, then 2, right?
What's the second test?
If I make other people happy, then
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, if the reason's true, the assertion must be true. So if I make other people happy, am I going to be happy? Yeah, we would say yes. Again,
most of the time.
laying up. It would be all the same conditions that we had for the last one, right? you have to, you have to practice the four. If you make somebody unhappy, because everybody does, right? We all make mistakes. I bumped somebody on my way here. Made them unhappy, right? So did I do the 4 powers afterwards, right? Did I create a complete karmic path? When I make other people happy, do I think about it? Do I have the right motivation? Do I think about it right before I go to sleep? Right? Do I do all those steps? Then again, do I not create obstacles for myself? Do I not, I make everybody happy except for that one guy. I like to call him the smelly guy. You don't know the smelly guy? Everybody knows the smelly guy. There's that one guy at work that nobody likes. He's a little bit weird, or he dresses funny, or maybe he smells a little bit. So everybody avoids him. They don't want to talk to him. They don't want to be nice to him, right? Did I tell you this story before? Okay. So what do? Right? Because if you do that, if you're avoiding the smelly guy, what are you doing? You're creating obstacles for yourself, right? You're not going to be happy because there's somebody that you left out, right? You left one person out. You're not taking care of them, right? So what's going to happen to you? It's going to come back to you. It necessarily must come back to you, right? So what do? Tonglen. I was working in publishing at the time when I first read the Diamond Cutter book. That's how I got started with all this stuff. I read the Diamond Cutter book, and I was like, wow, this seems kind of cool. So there was the smelly guy, and I had to work with him all the time. I was a help desk person at the time. When your computer breaks, you have to call me, and then I try and fix it, right? So we were always kind of like competing with each other a little bit because we had the same job, and we're always, who's going to answer more calls, who's going to do a better job, who knows the answer, who doesn't, So there's like natural competitive thing built in, plus he's the smelly guy. So then I read about Tonglen, the giving and taking meditation. I decided, okay, well, if any of this stuff is true, then this is the guy I should be doing Tonglen on. I'm going to do Tonglen on the smelly guy. So I did Tonglen on the smelly guy for like a week, and then when I'm walking past his cubicle, I'm like, "Do you need anything?" And then there was this like little voice in the back of my head going, "Dude, what are you doing? That's the smelly guy." Nobody talks to the smelly guy. It was almost like I couldn't stop myself. Like the meditation was like forcing me to like be nice to the smelly guy. And then I kept doing the meditation, and I kept like, and then like after like about another week, like we were like sharing sandwiches and like making tea for each other and like hanging out. And then I realized like how much like energy and time and aggravation was all unnecessary. All that like anxiety I had, oh God, the smelly guy's coming, nuts, the smelly guy wants to talk to me. Like all that's totally unnecessary. Like they can totally be your best friend, and like they'll totally change. And then either they might still be smelly, they might not. It doesn't matter. But if you change the seeds, like you'll find yourself like defending the smelly guy one day. Like somebody like, dude, why are you talking to the smelly guy? He's kind of nice. Like if you just hang out, talk to him. Like he's like we're like sharing sandwiches now. Then you're doing this, and you get that. Does anybody want to have any other objections to it?
Well, my only objection is it still seems like there's no we're taking it for granted here that the karma that
right, okay, yeah, we got to prove karma. Okay.
The first law of karma: if you give something, you get something back.
That's okay.
We haven't really proven that, have we?
All right. Yeah, 5 minutes to prove karma.
Except like there's a physics analogy, right? I mean, I forget what it's called, right?
Oh,
like,
physics.
Where you, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction or something. If you apply if you apply force to something, it's gonna.
Yeah. No, I mean, let's do it. Why not, right?
I guess it's the same thing. This is a knowledge science, so that gives it some credibility to begin with. But
I mean, like I said, my thesis is you're not doing it because you don't believe it. Why don't you believe it? Because you didn't prove to yourself. You're just going on what Happy Geshe Michael said, and you're like, I like that Geshe Michael guy. He seems kind of nice, but maybe he's full of it. Because what happened? I was like, it's my new favorite expression, right? It's not rocket science. Like none of this is rocket science. Like your mom told you what? Share your toys. Be nice to be nice to the other kids. Then what happened?
They grew up.
What's that?
You grew up.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so I was big into Star Wars toys. Like Star Wars was a thing. Like there's a reason why Yoda's on the poster. Like it's not an accident, right? So I don't use Star Wars toys, right? So my friend Bobby comes over. My mom's like, share your toys. Okay, fine. So me and Bobby are playing with my Star Wars toys. And then he takes my X-wing, he like drops it, and like one of the wings breaks off. Right? And then what am I thinking? It's the last time I share that, Forget this stuff, I did. I shared. I broke my X-wing. All right. So is anybody? So what's going on? Who knows? Who can tell me?
Time gap.
Yeah. Arne Nagarjuna called it a time gap. He says this is what screws us. Right? Why don't we believe in karma? Because we can't see it. Why can't we see it? Because of the time gap. So Geshe Michael came with this really brilliant thing when we were in Bulgaria. And they asked him, because we get this all the time when we're in third world Eastern Bloc countries, right? They're like, but we have to bribe people, We have to bribe people. That's how everything gets done. We bribe people. If you don't bribe somebody, you can't do anything, right? So he said, okay, let's bribe people. Let's talk about it. This is what happens, right? 1990, right? I shared my X-wing. And time goes on, right? In 1995, right? I give a bribe. And I'm trying to start my business. Guys give me a hard time. Screw it, I'll bribe them. All right. Then my business makes money. Okay, let's go that way. My business makes money, right? So then, what do I think?
You're probably
Yeah, bribing makes money, right? Then what happens? The bribe, that seed got planted, right? It goes on. 2005, what happens?
He was losing on it.
Yeah, stock market crashes. I lose my house. So the problem is, the way cause and effect works is this way, right? But we look at it and we think it works this way, right? So I was nice, I gave away some money, I shared something, that karmic seed got planted, right? Then the karmic seed ripens. I give a bribe, I think, oh, if I give a bribe, I'll make money, right? Is that true?
No.
Giving bribes, making money, mushi musume beecher, right? Run it in your head. If it did, then every time you gave a bribe, what would have to happen? You'd make money. Is that true? No. Who's that really bad housing lady that went to jail?
Martha Stewart.
Oh, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
What?
Helmsley. Yeah, Helmsley, right? Lena Helmsley. Right? If you could get everything by bribing people and slipping money under the table, right, then she'd be a billionaire, right? Instead, she went to prison, right? Which proves that getting bribes doesn't make money, right? What goes this way? She was generous at some time in the past. She was making money. She started giving bribes, right? Then that giving bribes karma ripened. What happens? Loses her business, goes to jail, right? I think if you check, like DCI, we're speaking to all these business people nowadays. I think if you check, you'll see that this plays out. There's who's seen Gandhi, the movie? It's like my favorite movie in the universe. There's a great line at the end where they ask Gandhi, you're into this whole ahimsa thing, right? And that sounds great and all, right? You're into nonviolence, right? Sounds great, sounds good, I like it. But what about Hitler? Right? What about Hitler? And he says, it's my experience that over time, those people always fail. I think if you check, you'll see that. Companies that give bribes and fire their employees and rip people off, do they make it? They might hit their quarterly, they hit their numbers that quarter. But 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, what happens to them? They all fail. They all fail. Right? Why? Because it comes back to them. All right, anyway. So there's three possibilities, and I'm going over a little bit. If you need to leave, you can leave. I won't take it personally too much. Proof for karma. Three possibilities. So the first thing you have to do is prove that these are three possibilities. I don't know how much time I'll spend on it, but I'll just sort of put it back on you. I'm going to say these are the three possibilities for cause and effect. If you don't accept that, then you have to give me a fourth one, right? Otherwise, we'll say, these are the three. Why? Because you can't give me a fourth one. And you can run the tests on that, see if it proves out. I think it'll work. Anyway, this is what Shanti Deva says, right? One possibility, it's all random. Second possibility, God did it. Third possibility, cause and effect, which is why I'm going to call it karma, because that's what karma means. Okay. Can anybody just right now, can anybody think of a fourth one? Some other way the world might work that isn't...
Some combination of those three.
Okay, that's
Free
fine.
will or whatever.
What's that?
Some people say free will.
Free will. As a cause for things? Oh, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, you could, what's that book? And then they made a movie out of it. The Secret. Right, what do they call that?
Law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Free will / law of attraction.
That might be viewed by some people as being sort of a subset of cause and effect.
That's true.
A subset
That's
of
true.
karma, really.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say that's a subset, and I agree. You could also say combination is also another possibility, which is what we all actually believe. You know, if something good happens to us, it's what?
It's our.
It's cause and effect. And if something bad happens to us, it's random. Right? So that's actually what we believe. So, anyway. Okay. All right, so we got 5. But the fifth one we don't really need to do, because if we disprove the other combination ones, then we'll have covered that one, right? Free will, laws of attraction. We can do that one right now. Consider money. I want it. No. I'm sorry. Consider money. I'm gonna get it. Because I want it. Is that true? No. What's the, first test, relationship between money and wanting it? Yes, that's fine. If 3, then 2. If I want money, am I necessarily going to get it? No. Lots of people like me who want money and don't have any. I'm kidding. But. So it's just not logical. There's no logical belief to believe in the law of attraction. There's no reason to believe that. Which actually, and it's fine. I don't have actually, I don't want to upset anybody. The law of attraction is fine. But what do you need to do if you want the law of attraction to work? You help other people. If you help other people and you want money, what's going to happen? You'll get it. So it's fine. It's fine. And that's like statistically, why does it work out? Oh, my computer's going to die. Rats. Why does it work out that people think the law of attraction might be true? Because if they're kind, the law of attraction will work. See? If you are kind, if you take care of people and you help other people get what they want, the law of attraction it'll work fine. But if you want lots of money, but you hurt people to get it, is the law of attraction going to work? No, it can't. Why? Because you're creating obstacles for yourself. All right, anyway. So let's go back to my original list. All right. God. Consider God. He makes everything happen. She. Because, what do you think? What's that?
All powerful.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the classic one. You can think of other ones. Again, so, like I said, a little bit, I can put this all back on you now. Whatever you think of reasons, and then you run the tests, and then you see if any of it works out. And then I sort of challenge you. I think what you'll find is that none of them work. All right. So consider God. She makes everything happen because she is all powerful. What do you think? What's the first test?
That's like a machine, and I don't think it works like that. But it's not that directive, I think, because if God is true, which I believe, there's a lot of room to do many things.
Yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm not really interested in disproving God or anything like that, because, like, I made this joke at the Prescott retreat. Consider, I'll just take God out and put in Vajrayogini, because all Buddhists are Vajrayogini practitioners, and they practice Vajrayogini because they think she can help them. Right? So if you want to disprove God, in a sense, you have a problem. Because if you want to disprove God that way, then I'll say you're wasting your time practicing green Tara, medicine Buddha, white Tara, Vajrayogini. It's a big waste of time. Why? Because you prove they don't exist.
What I understand.
But what I want to talk about is if those beings exist, what are they and how do they work? And our supposition will be that if God can help you, if Vajrayogini can help you, it's because you what?
No.
You helped other people. If you don't help other people, God can't do anything for you. And you'll suffer. And then we would say, you know, so if I God, Vajrayogini, Tara, whatever you want from here, blah blah blah, doesn't matter to me. We're gonna say Takmadru. Why? What's the reason? Paranam, give me a reason. Or give me an example. Why is Vajrayogini / God / Tara not all powerful?
Because some people suffer and so.
Because some people suffer. If people suffer, then we say God, Vajrayogini, Tara. There were one or two possibilities. They're either not compassionate or they're not all powerful. Because if they were, they wouldn't let me suffer. If there was a God who was compassionate and all powerful, I would not get headaches, toothaches,
But maybe
get old and die.
maybe the compassionate thing is to let you suffer now.
And that's the classic answer, but what's the problem with that? If they're all powerful, why would they create a being who needs to get old, sick, and die to learn something? Like, why would they just create a being who doesn't need to do those things?
Well,
Why wouldn't they just create beings like themselves?
I think that because we have the freedom to choose what I think karma, my belief is that God, it works through karma. It's whatever we do, we receive it. And we have
I agree.
complete freedom. And in this freedom, there's a lot that causes pain to others. And we are free.
I agree, but what that means is that God's not all powerful.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
powerful, but he says, hands up. This is where you can go each way you want. I mean, he gives us the freedom, doesn't mean he doesn't have the power.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, anybody want to do that more? I'm going over and
Is it then really the Vajrayogini or the God that's helping you in the end?
You're saying there's no relationship between one and three.
yeah. So then random. Let's see, consider, see this is funny, I'm going to say I think consider cause and effect. Well, I don't have to do that, I can say, let's say consider the world, or you could say consider what happened to me yesterday, or something like that. It's random. And then what's your reason going to be? Because there's no cause and effect.
Because cause and effect don't always work.
Or yeah, because they don't always work, that's fine too. But I mean, if they don't always work, that's to say there's no cause and effect. Those are equivalent statements, don't you think? Pretty much. So, run your task, consider the world. I'm sorry, what's the first task?
Relation.
Yeah, relationship between subject and reason. Is a relationship between the world and no cause and effect. So there's no cause and effect in the world. Well, I'm going to say Takmadru. You know? Then why? Okay, because if you want to say there's no cause and effect, what's the problem? Well, you wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't do anything. If you didn't believe in cause and effect, you wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. Why? Because you can't make anything happen. You wouldn't go to school. Why? Because you can't learn anything. That's a cause and effect relationship. You wouldn't go to work. Why? Because you can't make anything happen. You can't make money. Like, none of those things, right? You wouldn't speak. Why? Because there'd be no reason to. There's no cause and effect, right? You can't change anything. You can't make anything happen. You know, if it's all just random, you know, like a bunny rabbit could just like pop in the middle of the room, you know, or you like get in your car and you'd be on the moon, you know. Everybody believes in cause and effect. You have to, otherwise there's no reason to do anything.
I tried to have this talk with a friend of mine. He presented the as a rebuttal of the stock market. the way it goes up and down all the time. So it seems really random because no one can predict it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems random, right? But that's because they don't understand the cause. You know, that's the same person that bribes somebody at work because they think that's gonna, that will make them money. You know, I mean, once you understand.
I mean, there can be randomness and there can be cause and effect. But
No. No. And that's what this shows.
Everything.
Randomness is to say there is no cause and effect. That's what randomness means.
okay, supposing you have 2 6-sided dice and you roll them, and 2 1